Hydrogen origin theory of the universe or hot universe. My theory on the origin of the universe is called hydrogen origin theory of the universe or hot universe. It is the simplest theory on the origin of the universe. It is the only theory on the origin of the universe that is a universe that is not expanding. According to the current understanding of the universe is comprised of 73% hydrogen, 25% helium, and the rest of the elements comprised of only 2%. The truth is right in front of our eyes all along. The universe started with the hydrogen atoms. This is my theory on the origin of the universe, the hydrogen origin theory of the universe or hot universe. In the beginning it was dark and cold. The universe started with the hydrogen atoms. As the hydrogen atoms attract each other, it formed the early nebulae. The nebulae created the early stars. The nebulae evolved into the galaxies. Some of the early stars had gone supernova, that is, they exploded and created the heavy elements that became the materials for the early bodies in the universe, such as the planets, moons, comets, meteors, dust, and others. Solar systems were created. The dynamics of the galaxies and stars through gravity is forming the filament, which is the largest structure of the universe. The proof of my hydrogen origin theory of the universe, that is, that our universe started with the hydrogen atoms, is that currently, the accepted understanding of the universe is that it is comprised of 73% hydrogen, 25% helium, and the rest of the elements comprised of only 2%. In some articles, hydrogen and helium comprised of 99.9%. The current amount of hydrogen present in the universe can easily be explained because with the creation of the stars, nuclear fusion of hydrogen atoms happens that created the next abundant element, the helium atoms. While most of the current scientists, astrophysicists, and cosmologists ignored the fact that galaxies and stars collide, the evolution or reordering of the bodies of the universe into the filament as the largest structure of the universe, is through the gravitational field of the galaxies and stars that have a similar north and south poles of the magnet. My hydrogen origin theory of the universe or hot universe can explain everything that we can observe in the universe. It can explain even better most of the proofs for the Big Bang theory that actually contradicted the Big Bang theory. There is a problem-solving principle applied in science called the Occam's razor. It states that when presented with competing hypotheses that make the same predictions, one should select the solution with the fewest assumptions. This can also be simply stated as, the simplest solution is most likely the right one. 1. The abundance of hydrogen and helium in the universe. The universe is said to comprise of 75% of the hydrogen, 25% of helium, and just 2% for the rest of the elements. The theory I am forwarding is that the universe started with the hydrogen atoms. The abundance of helium is because it is produced in the nuclear fusion within a star, which is actually the next element created after hydrogen. In the Big Bang theory, the Big Bang started with a soup of energy which later created the proton, neutron, and electron. The hydrogen, helium, and lithium were actually created in the first few minutes of the Big Bang. The Big Bang theory is wrong in that the neutron is actually created in the nuclear fusion within the star, that is, the star had to be formed first to create the neutrons. Thus, my hydrogen origin theory of the universe had explained better and simpler why there is an abundance of hydrogen and helium in the universe. The answer is simply because the universe started with the hydrogen atoms. 2. Explanation of the creation of the heavy elements. In my hydrogen origin theory of the universe, the explanation for the creation of the heavy elements were just a natural progression from the star. In the nuclear fusion within the stars, heavier elements were created. It is said that the destruction of the star or its explosion called supernova will begin with the creation of the iron in its core. The supernova created the rest of the heavier elements. In the Big Bang theory, George Gamow tried to calculate how the heavy elements were created but failed. It was only when the idea that heavy elements were created in the supernova that the idea of creation of the heavy elements in the supernova were accepted in the Big Bang theory. That is, the idea that the Big Bang created all the elements is wrong, or that the Big Bang theory can explain the creation of the heavy elements is not true. The added explanation of the supernova as the source of the creation of the heavy elements was only a bandage to the Big Bang theory. A wrong theory needing a right explanation to appear to be a right theory. My hydrogen origin theory of the universe had explained better and simpler the creation of the heavy elements, in that the heavy elements were created naturally within the stars and when it explodes as a supernova. 3. The observed constant temperature of the universe. In my hydrogen origin theory of the universe, the constant temperature of 3 degrees Kelvin can be observed because the universe that started with the hydrogen atoms formed the stars, practically evenly throughout the universe even today as the stars were forming and dying. There was really no reasonable explanations on the Big Bang theory why the universe has a constant temperature, save that it was just observed to have a constant temperature today after the Big Bang. My hydrogen origin theory of the universe had explained better and simpler why the universe has a constant temperature, in that there is practically an even creation of the stars in the universe. 4. The observed cosmic background radiation or cosmic microwave background radiation. In my hydrogen origin theory of the universe, the cosmic background radiation or cosmic microwave background radiation can be explained by the presence of the stars throughout the universe. In the Big Bang theory, the cosmic background radiation or cosmic microwave background radiation was said to be the remnant of the Big Bang theory, which was just a conjecture. 5. The observed filament structure of the universe. In my hydrogen origin theory of the universe evolved with the creation of the nebulae, stars, galaxies, planets, moons, and other bodies. The dominant force of the universe is gravity, that is, gravity created by a star and a composite galaxy. Note that this is not the gravity of Einstein in his theory of general relativity, but my own theory of gravity that is similar to a magnet. In this sense, the evolution of the current universe through gravity created the observed filament, which are the largest structure of the universe. It will be noticed in physics that scientists, physicists, and astrophysicists are trying to reconcile their ideas and theories with the Big Bang theory. This is true for the theory of gravity in Einstein's theory of general relativity, the current understanding of standard models, fundamental particles and fundamental forces, the observed so-called dark matter and dark energy, and the existence of the Higgs boson. The following is a short discussions regarding these erroneous ideas and theories, and made-up problems in physics. 1. The question of why there are more matter than antimatter in the universe. On the question of why there are more matter than antimatter in the universe, in the Big Bang theory, it is said that the universe was created with both equal matter and antimatter, and yet today the universe is dominated with matter. As my theory showed, the Big Bang theory is wrong. The universe was created the way it is, with the preset charge of the proton and electron, and the quarks within the proton. It was just the way it was. The understanding of charge, which is in my charge theory, is that charge is the direction of the spin of a particle such as the quarks and electron. In a composite proton and neutron, the charge is the spin of their field. Thus, an antiparticle of a particle is a particle with the opposite charge or spin of that particle. Most of the antiparticle do not exist naturally in nature but is produced by collisions. Thus, although we can have antiparticle, we can never have antimatter, that is, an atom with an opposite charge or spin within it. 2. The problem of the unification of the fundamental forces. In the Big Bang theory, it is said that in the beginning all the fundamental forces, strong interaction, weak interaction, electromagnetism, and gravity were just one force, or they are all unified. Later on, they separated. In physics, physicists had already declared the unification of some of the fundamental forces, except gravity. In the Big Bang theory, it is said that the early universe started like a soup of energy. proton, neutron, and electron were separate from each other. I had explained in my books that there is really no such thing as unification of the fundamental forces except understanding what and where they are, even as I had said that the mediating particle of strong interaction, strong nuclear force, magnetism, electromagnetism, gravity, and the weak interaction is photon. We can already challenge the Big Bang theory with this idea alone. That is, in order for magnetism to exist, the atom had first to exist. This being that the magnetism came from the strong nuclear force and that the strong nuclear force came from the strong interaction. In order for electromagnetism to exist, atoms had to create the material for the electron to flow to create electromagnetism. In order for gravity to exist, atoms had to exist for a star to be created to produce gravity. Neutron can only be created after a star is created to result to nuclear fusion to create neutron. 3. The question of the existence of dark matter and dark energy. Currently, it is said that the universe consists of 68% dark energy, 27% dark matter, and only 5% matter. We can question how did the physicists came up with these percentages, considering that dark energy and dark matter do not exist. To understand dark matter and dark energy, we have to go back to an understanding that they were the product of the observations of the universe. Physicists cannot explain these observations and so they just named them. They are still looking for it right now, like looking for a non-existent black cat in a dark room. In my book on my theory of gravity, they were just the result of the mechanics of gravity, nothing else. 4. The existence of the Higgs boson. How the physicists created a non-existent problem and also created a non-existent solution can also be shown with the issue of the existence or rather the non-existence of the Higgs boson. In physics, there was a problem of where did the mass of a particle came from. A theory was forwarded with all its mathematical proofs. The explanation for how a particle got its mass is explained in the so-called Higgs mechanism, in the existence of the Higgs field and the Higgs boson. It was even purported that the Higgs boson was discovered in CERN's Large Hadron Collider, LHC. Naturally, physicists had to relate it to the Big Bang theory to explain its existence. Yet, the existence of the Higgs boson can easily be challenged. Note that all the fundamental forces came from the fundamental particles and that fundamental forces are fields, which has its mediating particle. That is, a mediating particle from its field cannot exist without its source in the fundamental particle. This gives rise to the question of where did the Higgs field came from. It essentially came from nothing but in the abstract math of the theorists who created it. It does not exist. A sobering lesson that science is not all about truth. In my mass theory, the mass of a particle is its inherent property by virtue of it being an energy particle, as simple as that. What we can get from these ideas and theories that were related to the Big Bang theory is that physicists can be fooled or fool themselves. I challenge all the brilliant people, physics teachers and professors, scientists, and physicists to compare the Big Bang theory and my hydrogen origin theory of the universe to once and for all settle the issue on the origin of the universe so that other scientific issues such as those I had discussed on other erroneous ideas related to the Big Bang theory can be settled, as most of them don't exist.
Please give proper credit to the author for discussion of his ideas and theories. Thank you.